everybody. I'm Debbie Lynn Molyneux. I am the new co-publisher of the Fulcrum, and here we are on day 3 of me working with the Fulcrum. And Donald Trump, his ban on Facebook was extended due to his violation and continued probability of violating community standards. And we wanted to just have a conversation about what are community standards and how do we enforce them or not enforce them, as the case might be. So I called on my good friends at the Coffee Party and Shakira, who's working with Bridge Alliance and Coffee Party both, to talk about these community standards, because Coffee Party has a long history of moderating their posts and enforcing community standards. How do you at Coffee Party, as a team that works on social media together, talk about and think of community standards and the many accusations that are given about censorship and free speech?
I think one of the first things that you want to look at when you're looking at community standards is the things that you don't want to do. And what we don't want to do as far as community standards and what we don't like as far as our own personal views can a lot of times be two very different things. As it's been said before, if we're talking about free speech, whether we're talking about the Constitution or just the general concept, that sort of thing only matters when you disagree with someone. As long as you agree with them, you'll give them all the free speech you want. It's when we start to disagree with people that free speech starts to become an issue.
One of the things we deal with at Coffee Party is monitoring comments from readers. And I promise you, someone who is disrespectful, who denigrates another, who mocks other people, it doesn't matter if I agree with their premise or not, they don't get to deliver their comments that way. And so for us, our community standards are really about preserving human dignity in order to try to foster an environment in which actual communication, actual listening and speaking can occur. And so sometimes we're accused of censorship, misuse of the word, but it's really our personal rules, I think in a lot of ways exceed the Facebook rules in terms of preserving human dignity.
I want people to feel safe, to be able to express their viewpoints and to not be bullied and to not be insulted.
One thing that it sounds like we're all saying is that respect is pretty much the guideline as to what we want for community standards. And that looks different in different situations, whether it be, not allowing someone to be disrespected, or whether it is trying to encourage someone to not necessarily switch their viewpoint, but say it in a more respectful way, right? You don't always, depending on the severity of the comment, you don't always have to take them away from the conversation. You can publicly encourage them to be a little more respectful and maybe even a little more educated in what they're saying. Because a lot of comments you all will see will be pure opinion, but there won't be anything behind it besides personal feeling. And while we all have, we're all entitled to our opinions, but certain opinions do have merit. And so that's one thing I think we can encourage as well.
I think a lot of it is a matter of respect. I think sometimes what makes us instinctively want to ban someone or shut them down, even though we should always think twice. But I think a lot of our instincts has to do with whether people are being respected and whether they're as I said, denying that something's happening to someone when they say it's happening is like when we have discussions on police brutality or on how women are treated. I mean, that's where it gets hard, because when people say it's not happening, it is a form of disrespect, because they're saying this didn't happen to you, which is very invalidating. And I see a lot of it. And I think Coffee Party handles it really well.